Welcome to the More Love Connection podcast. This is your host, Jenard D. Moore. Before we start the show, we officially want to invite you to become a Patreon for the More Love Connection podcast. If you don't know what Patreon is just a way to support your favorite podcasters or content creators. For just as little as $1 a month, you can officially support the More Love Connection podcast. If you're interested, we'd love to have you as an official More Love Nation supporter. So go over to www.patreon.com/MLCXN. Again, that's www.patreon.com/MLCXN. If you become an official supporter, you'll get access to behind the scenes content. You'll get access to guests. You'll be able to know who the guests are before we even announce on social media, and a plethora of other things. So think about becoming a More Love Connection podcast supporter. We'd be honored to have you as an official supporter. Again, that's www.patreon.com/MLCXN. For just as low as $1 a month, you can officially support the podcast. Now, let's jump right over to the episode. All right, More Love Nation, man, we are back with another episode. Today's episode is going to be amazing. I have a guy that I met on Clubhouse, and man, I'm telling y'all, we clicked like right away. The first room that we was in, I went over to his Instagram, hit him in the DMs, like, yo, bro, we got to connect. He hit me back and was like, yo, I was feeling what you were saying. But More Love Nation, I'm telling y'all, man, today's episode is going to be amazing. So if you have not done so, please make sure you go over to our Instagram, hit the like button on YouTube. Also, make sure you go over to Facebook, give us a follow. I know people really don't follow on Facebook no more, but hey, we still post stuff here and there on Facebook. Catch us on Twitter. And if you have not subscribed to the More Love Connection podcast, you're missing out, man. We get ready to be on season 6. Season 6 is coming out. I cannot believe that we have 6 seasons already. Go to your favorite podcasting platform. We are on over 80 different podcasting platforms. Simply search whatever platform you're on for More Love Connection. Hit that subscribe button. That way, every time we release a new episode, you will be notified. Again, I'm telling y'all, man, I'm keeping it short, sweet, straight to the point because I want to go ahead and jump right on into the conversation. These people right here, man, they've been married. I ain't even going to get into it yet. Y'all just got to stick around. So with that, again, y'all know I go real long in the intros, but I'm so excited because I'm ready to talk to my people. So with that, man, we're going to go ahead and take a quick More Love Nation commercial break. And right after that, we jumping into this conversation. So we'll be right back with you with more of the More Love Nation podcast. Hey, More Love Nation, if you all are enjoying this episode, stop what you're doing. Make sure you hit that like button. Also, go down into the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Leave us a comment. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcasting platform, make sure you take a screenshot of you listening to the episode, head over to your Instagram, upload it to your IG stories, and tag @MoreLoveCXN. Once we see the notification, we'll share it with our audience. Also, make sure if you're listening on your favorite podcasting platform to leave a 5-star rating and a review. Reviews help new listeners find the More Love Connection podcast. So stop what you're doing, take the screenshot, leave a comment, just show some love. Another way that you can show us some love is by going to check out our website. Go to www.morelovecxn.com. Check out the merch tab. We have some sweatshirts, some hoodies. Go over and check out our merch tab. Also, for low as $1 a month, you can become an official supporter of the More Love Connection podcast. All you have to simply do is go to www.patreon.com/MLCXN. If you have not done so, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube, share it with your friends and your family. Again, that's the More Love Connection podcast. You know you like it. Go ahead and share it. Now, let's get right back to the episode. All right, guys. I'm telling y'all again, as I said, today's episode is about to be amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and bring our special guest on. I can't wait no further. Y'all know this is unorthodox for me because what I usually do is I introduce the guests, I give y'all their bios, I give y'all their Instagram and all their social media. But I'm so hyped for this right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring our guest on and let them talk to us. So y'all welcome to the More Love Connection podcast. Y'all welcome Ethan Scarlett and Shauna Scarlett. What's going on, guys?
Thanks for having us on, man. This is dope.
Man, look, I'm telling y'all, we were talking before the show, and like, I don't know if y'all could tell, I'm so excited. Everything seemed to go wrong today, man. The internet went out. Internet been working fine. We've been, streaming all weekend. Then the internet go out. Then I get my stuff set up. Then the camera go out. And I'm like, come on. Then I get the camera working. And the microphone went out. I was like, man, come on, we gotta do this. So I'm excited. So Ethan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Man, myself. Where do I start? Who am I? I do a lot. Full-time entrepreneur. Left corporate America about 19, 20 months ago. It's been about a year, close to 2 years. November will be 2 years. Decided to be a full-time entrepreneur, chase my dream. So I'm building a multimedia brand right now. We've been podcasting. We've been releasing merchandise. We've been getting into the video, film, and production space. And really just trying to build a platform for millennials to be able to voice themselves and really everything just relating to that, helping others just chase their dreams. I'm also helping my father build a pest control business. He's been running that for about 20 plus years. So really trying to help him expand and within the next few years, give him the choice to decide if he wants to go into work or not. So
man, that's huge.
That's it. But yeah, about a year ago, I met this beautiful lady.
Nice.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness.
Shauna say, look, we gotta get them together. Not met. Whoa, wait a
minute. About a year ago, married this beautiful lady next to me. That sounds a little bit better. But yeah, that's me.
Shauna, what about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Shauna.
I'm a freelance graphic designer. So I do graphic design work for anybody, really. But I also have my own company. With my best friend. It's called Pink Lemonade. We are a marketing agency at our core, but we also provide media production, video production, event production, basically an entire umbrella for all creative needs.
Don't downplay that, because Ethan told me you had a magazine now.
We do. Oh yeah, we do. We have a magazine.
Oh, that's huge right there. That's huge.
Yeah.
So More Love Nation, man, y'all just heard the intros for Shauna and Ethan. Stop what you're doing. Go over to Instagram. Follow Ethan at Ethan_Scarlett. It's down in the show notes. Also, make sure you subscribe to Ethan's podcast, Boxhound Lifestyle. Follow him on Instagram at Boxhound Lifestyle. Also, follow Shauna at PYNKLMN. Shauna, I told you before I couldn't say your personal Instagram. Can you tell me what it is again? I'm sorry.
It's Clarity's Bliss.
I got it now. Clarity's Bliss. All right. So let's just jump on into the conversation. Like I said, Ethan and I, we have talked in several different rooms on Clubhouse. Let's just jump in. You said you've been married for a year. What has that year looked like for you all?
Oh, man. For me, you want to start first?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been great. It's been great. The process, the journey. I think what kind of flipped for me was, I think right before we actually got married, was understanding that I'm about to do life with her, right? So my whole perspective just changed, right? Mm-hmm. Understanding that no matter what we really go through, we got to figure it out, right? Yeah. Because this is it. But not to look at that in a negative sense, but understanding that this is now my partner for every situation. No situation is perfect, but I can definitely say that over this last year, it's been a great ride. Just learning more about who she is, learning more about myself and who I'm supposed to be for her, right? I think that's been the greatest part. So for me, every area of my life kind of changed, because now it's not just about me anymore. I now have somebody else that I'm responsible for. So
That's huge. What about you, Shauna? What has life been like for you within this last year?
I'd say it's definitely been a journey. It's actually flown by.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
2 months, it'll be a year. So
God. What's your anniversary?
okay, so it's
Uh-oh.
May 2nd, but we didn't have like the big wedding until September
Okay.
because of everything that happened. So
But
Gotcha.
May 2nd is our date.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's
Okay. Wait, so May 2nd, y'all got married during pandemic. That's
during
yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah,
Pandemic marriage. That's it.
in his backyard.
In my
Hey,
backyard.
ain't nothing wrong. Did the family know y'all got married? You know, on the May 2nd?
It
Okay.
was immediate.
The immediate family, right.
At
Okay.
first, and then we told everybody at the big wedding.
Okay.
So I was like wearing my ring, like if we're going out to stores, but if I knew we were going out with people that were going to be invited to the wedding, I wasn't wearing my ring that day.
Like, let me take that off.
Yeah. So when we got to the reception, we were like, we've been married. Y'all just finding out.
Y'all just, man, that's what's up. I only reason I asked that because I got a couple of people that I know who are engaged right now, and they're contemplating like, should we go to the justice of the peace or should we wait to have this big wedding? You know, once quarantine is over. I'm like, man, if y'all don't go jump that broom,
just do it.
Yeah.
First of all, the big wedding goes by so fast. We should have made it a whole weekend just to
really
absorb it all.
Really,
man. Let's talk about that here shortly because I'm telling y'all, we going on 5 years this year, and I'm still looking at pictures from my wedding. And I'm like, wait a minute, they were there. Wait, I ain't you know. So Ethan, you said this year has been a journey. You know, had there been some ups and downs, like you had some growing pains within these last year? Either one of y'all?
100%. I feel like when you go through some things, one of the areas that I had to pretty much grow from was understanding that it's okay not to agree on every single thing, right? And I think as human beings, sometimes automatically when somebody doesn't agree with you, it's like, oh, they're disagreeing. It's me against you, right? Where if you take that next step to now look at it and say, okay, it's okay that you disagree. Now let's talk about why. So I can understand how you feel. I can understand your thought process. And with me now understanding that, now when if this kind of situation comes up again, I can now look and say, okay, I understand your thought process. You told me this is how you react in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm processing that different. So I think that's been a big step for me to learn because, I mean, who doesn't like to think that they're right in every situation, right? But it takes another step to be able to take a step back and be like, okay, I understand your point of view.
That's big. Shauna, for you?
I think it's important to understand that you are two different people and you come from two completely different backgrounds. Even just for us, I'm from city life, single mom, youngest child.
He country or something? Because you gonna choke him up.
You okay?
One thing I hate about choking on water is what he's supposed to do. Drink more water. All right, we're good. So it's not COVID. It's not COVID.
Hey, look, man, somebody start coughing in public or sneezing, be like, whoa,
Right.
whoa. So you're from the city like Shauna and Ethan?
He's suburban.
Okay.
Parents married for years. He's the oldest child. They're also foreign parents as well. So it's two completely different backgrounds. So the way that we even deal with situations is different. So sometimes we do still butt heads, but we have to understand that we are on the same team, like he was saying earlier. Like it's not a competition of, oh, you were wrong, I was right. No, we have to come to a compromise at some point because we're both going to be wrong at one point and we're both going to be right at one point.
Man, that's huge. You know, something that you said, Ethan, and it's something that I'm just being transparent, I still struggle with today. I hate the term agree to disagree because I just feel like you just need to agree with everything I say because, you know, and like you said, in my mind, when am I ever wrong? You know, my perspective is my perspective. But Shauna, to your point, it is exactly what you just said. It's learning that even though we may look alike, you know, skin color wise, we are two completely different individuals and we have two completely different perspectives. And something that we talked about on our podcast within the first year was just how I clean and how Destiny cleans, like it's two completely different ways, cleaning styles. And that is might be minute to some, but she couldn't stand the way I clean, and that caused arguments. She didn't like that I gotta ask y'all this. What do y'all call the thing that you wash with? You know that look, you go get a towel and you get a what?
To wash rag.
A wash rag. Okay. I just call it a rag.
Same thing.
But she hated because she was like, you disrespected my washcloths. I'm like, man, that's a rag. Look. And look, for me, especially when I was single, going in there and getting maybe a green towel and a white washcloth, like, I don't care, who cares, But I can now, if I don't get a matching set, it's like World War III. Like, oh, you like that too, Shauna?
Yes.
Look, I think as long as it wash and dry, it's the same. If it wash and dry, look.
I'm telling you, look, it worked the same. I don't know. Yeah, but that's something good, man. Just learning early on that, we have two different perspectives. And even for you all, it's two completely different cultures. And that goes for a lot of individuals, especially married folks. And Destiny and I, we talk about that a lot. Like, how do we merge your culture and my culture and create the Moore household? Bring in some of the things that you learned coming up, some of the things that I learned coming up, what works for us. So another question for you all, and I kind of alluded to it. Ethan, we've talked about communication and Clubhouse, but want to bring this conversation to the podcast. How has communication been for your marriage within this last year?
Man, huge. Just because I see it as so important. If we could be transparent, or me being transparent, she's okay. But
you better check before you say it. You better check.
But one thing for me, I've always been an outspoken person, right? I've always been a person that wasn't afraid to pretty much voice myself, right? Expressing feelings and wanting to do that. When I first met Shauna, she wasn't as outspoken as she is today, right? And still working on some areas. But how I started seeing it was whoever is stronger in a certain area, I feel like it is on them to create the platform or create the space to help that other person to feel comfortable, right? There's a lot of areas where I'm not strong in, and I'm depending on Shauna to kind of help me come to that standard. So when it comes to communication, I've been intentional with trying to create a space to make sure that she feels okay to want to voice herself, that it's okay to express your feelings and want to express and not be afraid that it may come off wrong. I always try to avoid her trying to bottle it in and hold it in, because at the end of the day, it's both of us. If you hold it in, how am I supposed to know how you feel? If I messed up on something and you hold it in, how am I supposed to know not to do it again, right? So trying to create that space to make sure that we're both on the same page. And I'm not looking for her to be as outspoken as I am and be on that level. But however you choose to communicate, you can communicate through text. Some people like to write things down. Some people, right? Some people like to take a couple hours. If we get in an argument, 5 minutes later, I'm like, all right, how are we handling, how are we fixing this issue? Something I had to learn about her is she needs some time to process some things, right? So she may need a couple hours or whatever. And that was something that I struggled with at first. I'm like, we're about to go to sleep. Like, why are we still arguing with this? Like, let's get it over with. And it's like she needs time to think. She doesn't want to say the wrong thing or whatever. And I had to understand that I need to take a step back and allow her trust that she's going to come back and have that conversation.
I'm shaking my head, man, because I'm 5 years in and I'm still learning. It's like I'm the same. I'm an extrovert, and I'm just a believer. Like, let's get it out the way now. But I can't. You might be the same way. If we are in a not a heated discussion, because we don't argue, we just have tough discussions. But if we are in one of those heated discussions or something, and I'm just expressing myself, and Destiny ain't got nothing to say, I'm just like, make something up, like Like, don't just hit me. Don't just hit me with okay, well, let's talk. Like, make something up. But I'm the same. I'm the same way, man. That like, woo, yeah,
100%.
He is me.
Look, and Lord, Shauna, what about you? How has communication played a role in, from your perspective?
Honestly, I think Ethan hit it on the head. Our communication style is definitely different. He is more of the now, and I'm more of the take a step back, wait. He did mention how some people communicate where writing stuff out. That was definitely me. Like early on when I was getting more comfortable with the relationship as a whole, and we would have a disagreement, I would be the person to write out or text out paragraphs long.
You ever get them long texts, brother? I'm like,
no, I don't. I'm the one sending them. Destiny, she'll just hit me with that.
I can't do the texting because my fingers don't type that fast.
Man, with my phone, I be.
By the time I'm starting to write, I see the bubbles again. So now I gotta erase my message. I'm like, don't say nothing back yet. Let me say what I gotta say.
I can't stand it when she hit me on the red and I can see the timestamp. Oh Lord, I'm telling you.
I turned my reds off. Yeah.
Oh, you did? See, I only got them on for Destiny.
Okay,
that's it. That's it. And she got. I only got it on for her. And she gets same, but it's crazy. I had a guest on probably about 3 weeks ago. I don't know if y'all ever heard of her, Dana Shay. I met her on Instagram. I've been meeting everybody on Instagram. But one of the things, her and her husband got married at 18 and 21. And she said one of the things that they used to do, because they didn't know how to communicate like at all, they would get a spiral notebook and literally write dissertations to each other on how they were feeling. So anytime they saw that spiral notebook on the bed, it meant my spouse done wrote something to me. So now I got to go respond. And she said they would just be in there like going at it, pen to paper. And then they go there and sit down like, you ain't just telling me off on that notebook. Like ain't nothing happened. But I want to back up a little bit. So you all got married during the pandemic. How did you all meet? Because Ethan said y'all met a year ago, Shauna.
So he's in a fraternity and I'm in a sorority.
Okay.
And me and my line sister, we did a stroll video. It kind of went viral, but he was already following her. So then she tagged me, so he started following me. So I'm like, who is this or whatever? So I'm going on his page, and there was this one picture that he has, and it's still his caller ID to this day. And I said, that's my husband.
All right.
I followed him, and then I DM'd him.
So you made the first move.
She slid in my DMs, bro.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Was it you working out, Ethan? Was that the picture? One of you?
No, he didn't have his shirt open. No.
So I don't think she even came off initially trying to talk. She like commented on one of my stories. Yeah. Okay. So it was like one of those things like, I want you to notice that I'm here. I still had to make the move. She was asking me for her number. Like, right. So I think that happened a couple of times, and then we started talking. But then
we ran into each other at the cookout.
But I think that was after we knew we were both going to see each other there, right?
Yeah.
But y'all had set that up like, okay, I'm gonna be at the cookout. Yeah, let me put my good clothes on today.
So my fraternity threw a cookout, and her sorority sisters, they planned on going. So I said, all right, I'm gonna be looking out for you or whatever. So, and I don't even think we even got a chance to really talk. Like I saw her when she first came in, but that was it.
Because he just happened to be working the parking.
Yeah, I was helping with the parking. She came in. I'm like, I told you I would see you.
Did you charge her for parking, Ethan?
Say it again.
Did you charge her for parking, or you ain't let her slide?
Nah, I let her. I let her slide.
See, that was
each other the entire cookout.
What?
Yeah. So after we went back to Instagram and we set something up, and
he double DM'd me.
Wait, what's a double DM? Explain that.
Back to back, like I didn't respond after he did, and then we went to the cookout, and then he responded again.
So did you see his double
Yes.
DM?
You didn't respond on purpose? Hold on, let me turn my camera on.
We gotta have a meeting.
Right. But yeah, so long story short, we met on Instagram through the DM, set up a first date, and then it just pretty much took off from there. It wasn't a high school sweetheart. It wasn't one of those things. I saw you and I fell in love with you first sight. Instagram.
So y'all got married last year. How long did you all date, before, getting married?
3 years?
No, a year.
2 years.
Hey, Ethan, what Ethan?
Like,
He's stuck in spring forward or fall back.
we started talking in 2018.
2017.
That was like August, September. You asked me to be your girlfriend in December.
Okay.
You proposed to me the next December.
19.
And
okay.
We were engaged that entire year.
Okay, for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
everything happened. And every year, our relationship went to the next level.
Okay.
So and it's funny because during that whole time before I even asked her to be my girlfriend or to start dating, I think I even told her straight up. I said I'm not really looking for a relationship right now, and just trying to take it what it is and let things happen organically. She was like, okay, whatever. We were still talking. Things happen organically, and I guess 3 months later I changed my mind. But like that's just how the cars just fell. So yeah. So
man, that's a great segue because one of the questions I want to ask y'all, because you said y'all were dating, Ethan. You just said 3 months. So I get this question all the time, like, how did you know? So I'm gonna ask you all that question, but then first I want to ask you, like, what was it that made you say this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, and how did you know?
So I think everything in life happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. I was looking for, I don't want to say things that I was missing in my life, but I just saw, just based on past experiences, that God pretty much put her in front of me, right? There wasn't anything that I was really working hard on. She complimented me in every single way. So something that I use often, which pretty much answers both of your questions, was just from the simple fact where we were talking about how, like, I was the communicator and she wasn't the communicator. What I often use sometimes is that I always saw myself as a person that could tell you better than I could show you, right? I could tell you what I want, how I want something to be. I could tell you how I want it done. I could tell you what it is. Can't really show you, right? Where her, on her side, what I've been able to get from her is that she can show better than she can tell, right? And I saw that through even her work, how she is a great graphic designer. If you ever see her work, she can express herself magically through art. Like, it's crazy. But she always show you better than she could tell you. So I saw how we kind of complemented each other, and it was really just another piece of the puzzle for me. And she complimented me in every way. And God pretty much had his way, because, like I said, I wasn't looking for anything. And the more I talked to her, the more I kept liking her until I started falling in love with this girl. So, yeah.
Look, for Shauna, I bet you it was. She already said it when she saw the Instagram picture. She was like, "Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm gone. I'm off the market. It's Instagram."
I cannot get out of shape, man. If that's what's holding it down, I cannot.
She just told you that's your picture on the phone. Like, that's your standard.
That's right.
Shauna, what's about you?
I'd say coming from toxic past relationships, he's actually shown me that he wants to grow with me and wants me to grow as an individual. So even with, like, communication, that's what we've been talking about. I've come from relationships where we get in an argument, not talk for days, and then just come back like nothing ever happened. That's not happening here. Like, you're gonna figure out a way to communicate with me so that we can move on and grow better together. Like, even past communication, even with faith, even just with regular family stuff, always just wanting to grow and excel. Even with my business, always wanting to know what's going on, how he can help. So just like always wanting to be there and be a part of my growth is definitely a major thing.
Man, that's what's up. And I'm finding the more people that I talk to, just that whole dynamic of, having somebody there that is pushing you, having somebody there that wants to see you succeed, and that's huge in relationships. And one of the words that you said, it's a key word right now in society is toxic relationships, and I'm pretty sure all of us have gone through some kind of toxic relationship. But yeah, that's what's up. Let's jump back to this because we talked about this earlier. So y'all got married, during the pandemic in May. Then you had a wedding in September for the friends and the family. Shauna, you mentioned this, and I kind of alluded to it, but you said you wish y'all would have just didn't do the big wedding. Is that right?
No, that's not what I said.
No.
I said we had a whole weekend.
You wish you had. That's right. You said you wish you would have had a whole weekend. I said that was
that wedding regardless, bro.
Yes.
Y'all was gonna have the whole. Yeah.
She's so regardless.
How many people y'all have at y'all wedding?
We went from 150 to about 130.
God Almighty, that's a big wedding right there.
It's pretty big. And it worked out too because the space could hold up to like 700 people, if not more. So they said 20% of 700. I'm like.
Everybody, look, yeah, man. That's what, and for us, we had. I don't even remember the number. I know it was aunts and uncles, third. Just your aunt, great aunt, great. And I'm like, okay, look, and hopefully my family ain't listening to this part right here. Y'all stop it, skip, 15 seconds on down. But the people I didn't know, I was like, yeah, send them an invitation. They gonna send us some money.
That's it. Yeah.
Look, hey, we thank you for the support.
Did you want the big wedding or did you want the small wedding? Who wanted the big wedding?
I think we both. Well, okay. So for our story, Destiny and I, we started dating January 2016 and we got married August 2016. So it was like a fast transition. But during that time, we both were Christians, and I was like, man, we need to get married because I can't wait. So I was the one like, let's go to the courthouse. Let's just invite our intimate, close friends and family. We should have like a little intimate setting. Then it was like, let's just invite our parents. Then I was like, man, it don't matter who there, as long as we got two witnesses. But it turned into like a medium-sized wedding. And I think we had like 120, something like that. Yeah, it's about the same. I'm telling you, it's about the same. But I'm telling you, man, we didn't eat at the wedding. We ate like a little bit. We did the pictures, we danced, but it went by so fast. It was just like you said, we should have had a whole weekend. It went by so fast. But hey, it is what it is. Another question for you all. And I know kids in the future for y'all. Y'all talked about that. What's that look like for you?
So
all right. We look.
I like to get deep with everything, right? So to answer the question, yes, soon. I thank God for wisdom in my young age. Mm-hmm. I cannot take any credit for it. But as I started dating Shauna, one thing that I started understanding is that as a man, and I tell some of my boys this, but as a man, right, if you're looking to really have a successful relationship and you're trying to become selfless, when you get into a relationship, it's no longer about you, it's about her. Right, because you're being a little bit more selfless. So that's why I said it's not about me anymore. A lot of my decisions, spending and going out and doing all these things, that I have to consult or at least have that in consideration, right? But then the whole next thing was, okay, when we have kids, it's no longer about us; it's about them, right? Mm-hmm. So as we are understanding husband and wife obligations, duties, responsibilities, whatever, let's take the time to make sure that we understand what we're doing. Because again, even in my young years, I'm able to see this, and I see a lot of people jump into marriage, and the next thing on the agenda is to have kids, right? And what happens is you forget that role of being a husband and wife, and you jump into being a father and mother, right? And neglect the husband and wife role. So I don't want to delay and say we need to wait 10 years or even 5 years. We've been having the conversation a lot. But I'm always intentional about making sure that we are good. And then as we continue getting children, I want to stay intentional about, yes, our duties and obligations are now as a father and mother, but we want to make sure that we still take time to nurture this husband and wife obligation as well.
Man, Ethan, you sound like you done been married 25 years, man. But you know that is huge though, man. And like you said, some people, get into the relationships and the next thing is, okay, we just had this grand wedding. Now let's go have kids, and you don't have that solid foundation. So I applaud you on that, man. We waited 4 years, and it was just like as soon as we had our daughter Madison, it was strictly all about Madison. And I've talked to so many different people that have had kids, and it's like it's so easy to kind of forget about your spouse, especially when you have kids, because literally everything is about what your child needs. And and even for Destiny and I, being going on 5 years this year, like we're looking for ways on how we can stay connected. And Madison, you got to go to your Gigi or Gma house this weekend, baby. Look, we going to hang out. We going, so I applaud you on that aspect. One more question I got two more questions for you all. So first question I want to ask you all, as millennials, you all are, been married for a year, been dated 3 years. Wait, two, was it 3 or 2? Ethan got me confused, Shauna. You tell me.
We married now. All that.
Okay. Y'all dated 1 year, being married, so y'all been in this thing. So what's one piece of advice that you all would give to newlyweds and single individuals who are looking to be married?
Let me go first. I definitely say that this is for people looking to be married or people that are young millennial.
Both you can do looking and young millennials.
Looking, just make sure that you're really understanding yourself and the partner, your partner. I think a lot of times, and this is even before you start even getting into the marriage part of it, but a lot of people, I've seen it. I think I may have done it in my younger dating life, where you may experience a heartbreak or something, and you look to just jump into another situation without either healing or understanding yourself and learning from that. But really taking the time to understand who you are, and then when you get into a relationship or really looking to take that next level, making sure that you guys really understand who you guys want to be to each other. I try to be intentional about asking these questions about, what do you think a wife is? What do you think a husband should be? What do you think a mother should be? How do you expect a father to be? How do you want somebody to raise your child? Because a lot of people ignore those questions or don't even think about those questions until they're either in that situation or until it's too late. So I think really just being intentional about having those conversations as early as possible with your partner, and communication. And we talked about it. I'll just say it for the More Love podcast, but really understanding that it's bigger than you just being able to just talk and be able to express yourself, but being able to be an effective listener as well, and listening to your partner, what they have to say. Because if you're just giving, or if you're just giving and you're not able to take anything in, they're going to recognize that, and you're going to be like, you're not paying attention to me. You're not seeing that. I want to understand why you feel the way you do. Right. So, yeah.
That's good. Shauna, you got anything on that one?
I would say know what you want and understand the role that you're trying to be. I think that people just say the word husband and wife and don't understand the actual work that goes into it. I also think that people only glamorize the wedding and not the marriage. Like the wedding is only the one day. The marriage is supposed to be the lifetime. So you have a lifetime of learning this individual that you've committed your life to. So it's going to be hard work, especially when you yourself change. It's going to change. You're not going to be the same person that you were when you married. We're not even the same people we were a year ago. So it's just an ever changing thing, and just understanding that everything's not going to stay the same.
Man, that's crazy. Ironically, I was on Facebook this morning, and just to your point about people changing, and it was from Medea's one of the stage plays, and Tyler Perry was in character with Medea, and he said, when you get married, you need to be prepared to marry 7 or 8 individuals, and on the surface of that, it's like, wait a minute, I'm only marrying one person. But when he dove deeper into it, he was like, every 5 to 7 years, a person changed. So the person that you marry on whatever your wedding day is, 5 years from now, they're gonna change. They're not gonna stay the same. You're gonna add kids into the mix. People's taste buds change. People's perspectives change or different things. So to that point, you got to be prepared for being willing to take that journey with somebody. And like you said, that's when the work comes in. When you get to that new stage and like, wait a minute, you weren't like this when we said I do. And it's like, oh, what? Uh, so that's huge. My last question for you all: can you all tell our listeners how they can support Ethan and Shauna?
Yeah. Well, like we both have our own businesses. Love for you guys to support on a bigger level. I mean, with my platform, we're trying to create a space for millennials. We have conversations relating to relationships, dating, how to be successful, how to become the best version of yourself. So we just released our 5th season of Boxtown Radio. It's available on Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram at Boxtown Lifestyle. We have our merch as well at Boxtown Merch. You can shout your business.
So all things marketing, graphic design, video production, event production, hit us up at Pink LMN. That's PYNKLMN. You can also check out our magazine, our digital magazine. It's called The Squeeze, and you can also find that link in our description.
I like that. Pink Lemonade, and then you got the Squeeze magazine. I like the connection in that.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So thank you all for coming on the show. More Love Nation. Man, make sure y'all go and support Ethan and Shauna. They just gave you on the ways how you can support them. Look in the show notes. You can see all of their links. Please go and show some love to Ethan and Shauna. If you found any inspiration in this conversation, any value, anything that benefited you, please like, share it. Make sure you have subscribed to the More Love Connection podcast. But with that, this conversation is over. Y'all holler at a player when you see him in the street. Peace.